whatever the 20 shakes out to, it's going to be good. It's just there were so many great videos discussed.
God, so many great songs in there in that list too, and
And plus
everybody's list.
MTV, everybody was so hungry for MTV when it came out, and I can't stress enough how much that it meant to people to be able to have those videos and to have rock and roll. And the early years of MTV was dominated by metal, and you couldn't get your metal nowhere else. Radio would not play Iron Maiden. Radio would not play Ozzy. Radio would not play Judas Priest, but MTV would, right? And so if you wanted to see, I mean, if I hadn't seen those videos, I wouldn't even know what them guys look like.
Burning down the house.
Podcast.
Ooh.
Are you serious? Wow! And I didn't even this wasn't even on my list, but that's a great video.
Now if whoever picked a song would have picked it higher on the list, it would have made top 20.
And it's such a good artistic video because you start with the keyboard there, and it's just you see David Byrne kind of float in every time, and then he's floating like impressed onto the street there. It's just an odd video. It's going to be interesting to see who else doesn't make it.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that video and I love that song. I'm a huge Talking Heads fan. The rhythmic nature of it, and I love the performance art that he does on stage. Which, even though it eventually broke up, the Talking Heads, and that was an example of his vision for performance art and how it can be done by music videos. So I agree with you guys. It is.
David Byrne's a weirdo. I love him.
Yes, that's it. I saw him at Bourbon Beyond. And he was solo, and he had like a traveling troupe with him of percussionists and stuff. And they had it was really made up and clown-like. And instead of having a drum set and musicians that were static, they were marching around and dancing and everything. It was all choreographed. And some idiot in the crowd was heckling them, and I thought it was the silliest thing I ever seen in my life. But he was in Louisville, Kentucky, so it didn't work out for him. But because they roused him.
I actually caught, I don't know what year it was, our festival we had here in Birmingham City Stages, one of the last, I don't know, it was one of the last 3 or 4 he actually did a set there, and I caught probably about a half hour of it, and it was really, really good.
Oh, it's really good. And they did a lot of good songs. They did Life During Wartime. To me, that's my favorite. To me, that's the greatest American punk song of all time, Life During.
That's a
great choice. I like the way you're thinking.
I'm going to go ahead and mention this real quick. I'm really shocked, and I'm disappointed in myself for not having this on my list. I can't believe this video did not end up on the list. As corny as it was. The Cars, you might think.
It was.
What a groundbreaking video.
I thought about it, but that was one that I just for me as from a video perspective, it never captured me.
Well,
what's your favorite Cars song, Kyle?
It's going to sound cliche, but I love "Good Times Roll."
That's a great song.
Mine's actually Drive. Rick's not singing that one.
No, he's not.
Nope. Best Friend's Girl is my favorite car song. I think that you could hear clearly a Les Paul and a Fender guitar both being played on deluxe reverb, and they are doing a perfect counterpoint that is pure Americana, and I can't.
And that song kind of reminds me of if Cheap Trick was going like full British with this song, and that's kind of like Cheap Trick imitating British Invasion.
I will say this.
Just What I Needed was awesome too.
Yeah, I had some good tunes.
Everyone thinks I love Good Times Roll because of the opening guitar. It's not that. I just love how the drum fills are in there. They're the right fills, and it just complements everything in there.
It's kind of a snaky kind of song. I love it, man. Good shoot and pull song. That's a great one to shoot pull to.
Absolutely. All right, another of the four that didn't show up. That was just right outside. Yes, Owner of a Lonely Heart. I don't know who remembers that one.
Yeah. I think that was one of my picks.
That video was awkward. I remember watching that, and it's just.
I remember the song. The video is not really iconic to me. It's just another video on MTV.
It did well. It did very well.
Snaps.
But yeah, they're jammed, and they're floating around. The video just. doesn't do nothing for me. So no, I'm okay with that one.
Yeah, it's soft. I'm soft on that one.
I love that video, and that was definitely my pick.
Owner of a Lonely Heart.
I didn't pick it high enough, obviously. All right, another that was right outside. Rush Subdivisions.
Oh, yeah, that's a great song.
That's a great song, and it's like, is that the one where it's like they hover over the actual subdivision, but they goes into like the school, and there's the kid that's like walking through the school and all that?
Yeah,
That's the video.
That's it. Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons I picked it.
It's a solid video. It's one of those that I wouldn't have high. And this is going to sound odd as hell. My favorite Rush music video of the 80s is their adult contemporary music video, Time Stand Still. That one I like the most. That's odd. Go ahead and make fun of me, but that's what I liked at the end.
Show tunes.
Yeah. It came out about 1990, I think. Time Stands Still. Or it might have been 80, somewhere between 87 and 90. So I think it falls slightly outside of our time period here. But
it does, but that would have been because Distant Early Warning was another music video they did. I never was a fan of that video.
they was trying to emulate Dr. Strangelove.
It was.
Yeah, I remember the person riding the missile.
Yes. I think we watched that together, Doug. I swear that me, you, and Norman and Jesse Haribe, watched that video together at Norman's house. I swear we did.
I don't remember it, but it don't mean it didn't happen.
Right. Because we was at Norman's just sitting around watching videos, and his dad was working, his mom was God knows where, and I don't know what we were into, but MTV was on the fucking menu. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. All right. The last one of the four that was right outside, Grandmaster Flash, The Message.
Oh, that's so important song.
Yeah,
that's iconic because that was really like the first national MTV song before Yo MTV Raps hit the scene. Yo MTV Raps, of course, really cemented hip hop music and spread it like a virus through every single neighborhood.
And it was the video of it was interesting for me because as somebody from Appalachia, what I knew about the hood was stuff from TV shows and shows that my mom watched and stuff like that. And then I seen that video and he's hanging out and I'm looking all around him. I said, man, it's rough where that dude is at, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought. I couldn't help but think that, right? And the way he was coming across to me was so real. And the fact that he was in the rubble of his neighborhood, right? It made that video real as hell to me.
Just truly incredible. Now, of course, I'm a little bit younger, so my first taste was Run DMC My Adidas on I-95, which was the hit rock radio station. And here come the young urban upstart crashing the scene. Wow, that was a really big deal. And you know, rap was, you know, there was Breaking, I believe it had just come out in the theaters.
Yeah, for me as a kid, it was Run DMC and Aerosmith's collaboration, Walk This Way.
Walk This Way, yeah. And that was it. That blew the whole thing wide ass open. There was no containing at that moment.
Everybody grab your balls. It's the Balls Out podcast.
Sweet dreams, dear.
Number 20, Genesis, Land of Confusion.
I love that video. That was one that I threw out there.
Muppets.
I'm going to say it's definitely pop Genesis, but it's so political. You got Reagan, you got the puppets. That's all I need to say.
If you're going to do political, that's the way to go, and not with Billy Joel, We Didn't Start the Fire, which I'm sorry. I believe is on the other end of the spectrum of politically charged, you know, pop rock songs of the era. Land of Confusion hits all the right notes, I think, and the video is wicked, man. The video is still to this day is even though if you don't understand all of the context, because there is a lot of in the moment references in that video. It's still a fun watch.
And it's a hard hitting song musically, right? I mean, it's hard hitting.
Phil Collins, man, how can you go wrong with anytime Phil Collins is near a drum set? It's going to be a good time.
Number 19, Scorpions, Rock You Like a Hurricane.
Shut the fuck up.
I am dead serious.
That was a good song.
I'm going to stay quiet on this one because, it's still a good tune. I love the song.
Now, hold on. Now,
Don't get me
you
wrong.
said you love Scorpions except for the one song.
I do, and this one's a guilty pleasure for me because again, it as far as lyrical content, I mean, come on now, this is not a very deep song.
Yeah, but this is a video list, not a song list.
This is
fantastic. I mean, it's like they're like in a steel cage match. You got hot chicks that are just face painted all the way around. You got animals.
It is 80s excess to the zenith. Yeah, it really is. So much so that I mean, you can really see stylistically. Now, we're going to talk about that later. Stylistically, I think Sam Kinison owes them more than not anymore, but owed them more than $1 as far as basing his whole aesthetic.
I remember when the video hit, and it was a phenomenon for a while. It was huge. Got a lot of fucking play. I'd never seen anything like it at that point, as far as the way the video was shot.
And the Scorpions, man, they're underrated. They had a lot of great songs, and
what can I say?
Yeah, and they were hitting hard. Well, see, the time that went out, they had they didn't have Michael Schenker no more. They had Matthias Jabs and Michael Schenker's brother, right? Rudolph Schenker. So Rudolph Schenker was the main songwriter of the most productive part of their career, and Michael Schenker was on the early stuff, but it was groundbreaking. I love Michael Schenker.
Number 18, Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon.
Well, guys, I got to chime in on this because I'm a huge Ozzy fan, right? And there were no videos other than concert videos, clips for anything off of Blizzard Oz or Diary of a Madman, right? The only thing you had on MTV was a little clip of the Speak of the Devil tour that they had at an MTV concert special. So they would do Iron Man and Paranoid, and there was no Ozzy Osbourne video. So Bark at the Moon was the first Ozzy Osbourne video that was conceived and went from the beginning. And yes, it's cheesy as hell, right? But you've got a Jakey Lee riff that is fucking mind warping. Excuse my language, guys, but he's one of the best as far as using the pick for heavy metal and palm muting and stuff like that. It's just amazing. It blows my mind. And the video is goofy.
I think the video is awesome.
I do.
Because that's what people did back then. I mean, these were little stories.
I love the video. I think the video is amazing.
Absolutely. And Ozzy's howl in the song is fucking, it's perfection.
It's, to me, my second favorite Ozzy video of the decade. I hope my favorite one makes it. I won't mention it, but it's like a cheesy horror flick. It's like an old Doctor Who episode, but it's like there's like that horrorness, and it's just
Dark Shadows.
Yeah,
it's Dark Shadows.
It's fantastic. It's a great pick, great ad. So
Number 17, Talking Heads, Once in a Lifetime.
Ooh. That's so. This is one that I threw out there. I didn't know anyone else gave me any love on this. So it's definitely like the Elvis Costello did a music video back in the late 70s called Pump It Up. You have that same kind of aesthetic design there with like the white background and like that fuzziness. But in this video, you incorporate all these effects and everything else, and it just melds together. To me, with the Talking Heads, there were 3 music videos they did in the 80s that are, to me, tops. We talked about what didn't make it was Burning Down the House. Obviously, Once in a Lifetime, which made it. But the third one, and I contemplated nominating, but I felt at 2 Talking Heads, that was enough. If you guys remember, This Must Be the Place off of the Speaking in Tongues, whenever they show like the home movie at the house and it just goes on there. I just didn't feel like that video was as creatively as good as their other 2, but they had some iconic visuals in the 80s.
Oh yeah, it was incredible, man.
Anything to add to that?
I just think that, like they said, David Byrne was a guy that has a big imagination, and he was somehow able to get it shared. I don't even know if his vision, the whole thing was able to come out, but he was able to get bizarre shit shared, and I love bizarre shit.
Number 16, Def Leppard. Foolin'.
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Big
Now, if you
video.
live in that-
Wouldn't have been
Very
my-
popular video. I go back far enough to remember when.
Not near as popular as Pour Some Sugar on Me.
No,
No,
but
actually, in
that was out of our
1982.
time. That one's out of our time.
I
Yeah,
remember-
thank God.
In 1982, Pyromania ruled MTV, guys. Right?
Pyromania is a great album.
It ruled MTV. They were the number one thing on MTV in 1982. I mean, it went plumbing through 1984. Pyromania was so big, so many songs were released, right? That I mean, they absolutely ruled MTV until
I think from a visual standpoint, I thought Photograph is a better video. Animal from Hysteria. I know that's, I think, maybe a year or two outside our scope, but I would have had that above it as well. Like Foolin' is just, that's an odd one for me. I mean,
It was a very popular video. That's all I actually remember about it. I used to watch Friday Night Video Fights religiously.
Oh, me too.
That was one of those that hung around for 8 or 9 weeks at number one.
Oh yeah,
Which is was a long time back in that day.
Number 15, Rat, Round and Round.
oh, I love
Good tune.
I love this video.
Hot women. I mean, what more do you need?
and he
Uncle
takes
Milty?
his guitar neck and he swipes all the stuff off the table so he can pose. When he falls out through the ceiling and he hits the table, he takes the neck of his guitar and sweeps the junk out of the way so he can pose. That's epic.
Hey, and Uncle Milton playing himself and a woman in the video.
Now, did you know he was their manager?
I knew that he put some money into him.
Yeah.
Well, that's managing. That's managing to get your money back, hopefully.
Maybe, yes.
They sounded awful in concert in those days because they had Jimmy.
And I think he did. I think he did pretty well with that tune because that's an iconic song from that era.
The video's just, in my opinion, just as iconic. It's again that '80s cheese that's hilarious, and I feel that the sounds complement the actual what you see visually. I get a big kick. Anytime I see the video and I see the rat coming out after being served, makes me laugh every time.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Number 14, Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Wanna Have Fun.
Captain Lou Albano.
Awesome fucking video. One of those other ones. It dominated airplay for months.
Well, not only that, but I mean, it is still dominating airplay on the airwaves today. It quietly, not so quietly, really became kind of the feminist anthem of the moment, and without being too preachy and without being too, there's no agenda really to the song other than the fact that girls just want to have fun. And
there was a lot of dudes in that group in the video. There was a lot of dudes following.
But man, I'm going to tell you what,
old looking pervert dudes.
I'm going to tell you what though, there is other than her absolute iconic performance on that whole entire album, time after time. God, what a massive song that is.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And I almost picked that one, but this song really just encapsulates the whole entire era. It is one of the few songs that we're going to talk about tonight that kind of continues to reverberate, just because of its simple little message. Girls just want to have fun.
When I was doing my list, I figured someone was going to pick on Cyndi Lauper. I didn't.
Number 13, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Don't Come Around Here No More.
That's a good. What a bizarre video.
That is the song I wanted to make it. The video I wanted to make it. Just the Mad Hatter. It's one of my all-time favorite music videos. I love the song. I think there's a 80s component to it, but there's also it's timeless in a lot of ways. It's so good. and I'm glad it made it. So
Oh yeah, video wise, it's a masterpiece. I don't know if I love the song or not. I definitely love the video, and maybe I do love the song because of the video. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. The video is the first thing that caught me. The song is odd.
Well, when you're talking about Tom Petty, I mean, there's so many just great iconic tunes, and we could sit and just go. We could do a whole entire podcast on just Tom Petty.
And we will,
Um,
and we will at some point.
But yeah, this doesn't really strike me as one of his finest tunes. But coupled with the video,
and remember, it's about the video.
Wow.
It's about the visual component.
It really is, and you can't really have one without the other. It just doesn't seem like it would feel right.
I think that's why I didn't think it would make the top 10.
Like if they put this concept to another song that they had written over the years, a song that maybe had a vague concept that they could kind of squeeze this into it, and it just wouldn't hit like it does. It really there's just a really creepy vibe that Tom Petty's not really known for creepy.
Well, and my thing is, while the song isn't maybe his top song, the visual, the way I graded everything was video. Like, I watched the videos. If the song was great, cool. But I mean, this one to me visually was as good as anything. So
yeah.
Well, and the song really is good, and the Eurythmics collaboration was awesome. Annie Lennox does some awesome fucking vocals in it. I don't know what Dave Stewart did. I know he acted in the video.
He did some stuff.
He was
a participant.
Did you know that Playboy magazine voted her the most beautiful woman in the world in like 1980 or 81? And at the time, she had a completely shaved head. I found that interesting, right?
I like women with shaved heads.
She wasn't an ugly woman.
No, she's a good-looking woman. She was a full-blown woman. She wasn't no way. You know what I
mean? Number 12, Van Halen, Jump.
Oh. It is kind of a corny video. I saw this one recently, believe it or not, and it is kind of corny. There's a lot of cheese and a lot of corn, but man, it's some good cheese.
This stuck out of my head, and now this particular video was number one for 10 straight weeks. It won the Friday Night Video Fights for 10 straight weeks. This video, they spent under $500 filming this video.
Yeah, you can see where they spent their money or where they didn't spend their money. If you go back and watch the video now with modern standards and HD TV and so on and so forth, yeah, there's so little money there. It really is. It's in some little sound stage that, in between shoots for another movie or something. Sure, you kids can go over there and shoot your little video for a couple hours,
What band could pull that video off and it be a popular video?
Well, and it also relies again on the strength of the song, because that is a monster ass jam. It really is. And Eddie's not only shredding on the guitar, but he's over there doing a nice job on the synth as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And then of course you got David Lee Roth, young hot David Lee Roth
was playing.
David Lee Roth was so hot when he was young. He really was. That was a hot man.
I wasn't attracted to him.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm attracted to him, but if I would be attracted to men, it would probably be to young David Lee Roth.
He was awesome. That's for damn sure.
That's not gay. That's not gay in any way.
But my thing is, the Hot for Teacher video to me is so
God, that's the one. That's the one. That's the one that made them absolute monster ass superstars. If they weren't already going to be on the path, that right there just send them straight on a roller coaster up.
But the Oh Pretty Woman Van Halen music video, in my opinion, as a visual concept, way much better than Jump.
Shiny diamonds, like the eyes of a cat in the black and blue. Something is coming for you. Look out! Rest of the morning.
Again, your typical '80s metal video, a lot of flames, a lot of throwing of the horns. But this is such a massive song.
You talking about looks a kill?
It makes me laugh every time because it's so cheesy. It's
It is, but man, there's just something so endearing about it, though. I don't know what it is, more so than most of the other metal videos in and around that era.
I just don't believe that a midget can take down the beast in that. That's what makes it hilarious to me. So it's a great video, great song. I got no problem with it.
David took down Goliath with one single stone, so I'm just going to just leave it at that.
You are listening to the Balls Out podcast. Like, share, and comment after you subscribe, of course.
Number 10, Madonna, Material Girl.
Man, this, you want to talk about a video that sums up the whole entire 80s experience. This is it.
Yep.
About clawing your way to the top ruthlessly, relentlessly, and declaring yourself number one. And this song does it. Because, and again, there's something really icy beneath the surface of the song, and I think that's why it still stands up to this day. That song, man, I'm telling you, on a good set of speakers, this song fucking rules.
I feel Phil Collins ripped this video concept off for his I Wish It Would Rain Down, because it's in a lot of ways eerily similar in concept.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the concept goes, and really, I don't know if anybody's ever, if you remember the actual, like, the whole video, because everybody thinks about, you know, Madonna dancing on stage or this, that, and the other, but it was actually a concept video.
Yep.
And there's like a director at the very beginning of it, a little spoken word kind of this, that, and the other, in keeping with the 80s trends of, you know, videos that tell this whole massive story in 3 to 5 minutes. But man, I'm gonna and you really can wad the story up and throw it away once Madonna comes out and the whole choreographed little showgirl thing and the content of the song, along with that really icy sheen underneath of it that permeates the whole entire thing. Man, it's just you can't get any more 80s than that, and it's still to this day that video holds up well.
It does.
And you got our European armpits.
Well, I mean, that's coming back, man. If you get online, you can see all sorts of hair in all sorts of places on Pornhub.
No, my favorite video of her is Papa Don't Preach, because she's wearing this like pointed bra thing and she starts.
Another great story type video of the 80s. Man, that's a great one.
But when she's going across that stage and she's wearing that pointed bra thing and everything is going up and down as she walks across through there, it was quite entrancing to me at that age, you know.
Number 9, Michael Jackson, Thriller.
This is number 9. I'm surprised this isn't higher. Because that, man, when that drops,
this would be number 1 on a lot of lists.
When that dropped, that song, you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't go to the shopping mall. You couldn't go to the convenience store. You couldn't go to your friend's house. You couldn't go nowhere, and that album wasn't playing somewhere.
I mean, guys, I got to know this as a man from you guys, right? If the girl in that video was walking next to you and you were Michael Jackson, was there any way you could not have hit that?
Well, if you wanted to hit a little kid instead, then
if she was a kid,
that was never proven in a court of law.
I mean, she was hot beyond belief. I'm just saying, the girl that was with Michael Jackson his day in the video.
Oh, Ray.
Yeah, the back view of her is, I mean, just my God, right? As the teenage guy when that came out, it was, you know, I'm watching that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I remember.
To me, it's one of the iconic videos of all time. A lot of people, like you mentioned, Doug, have it number 1. I do feel it needed to belong. I didn't include it because it's no disrespect to it. I just figured it would be there, so I kind of relied on everyone else. But it's definitely one of those. What was it? John Landis directed it, And
it was a big Hollywood production, complete with Vincent Price and a bunch of choreographers and makeup, and man, it was a big thing.
Yeah, it deserves all the laurels it gets.
And even today, it's still a great Halloween song.
Oh yeah, it's a great song. Undeniably, anything Quincy Jones had his hands in is what you want.
Yep.
Number 8, Def Leppard. Photograph.
Oh, such a great song and a great video.
Huge video, kind of hinting toward being about Marilyn Monroe. I'm not sure that the song actually was about, but they kind of hinted in the video.
Very
a lot
much
of people
so.
thought it was about Marilyn Monroe, which was a great subject matter in the early '80s.
Yep.
It's kind of a Marilyn resurgence.
You get a Marilyn image. You get the outline of like a blonde laying inside of dead. There, you got the guys just jamming away. It's just everything just fit with that video. There's not much more with that. Tells a story about a serial killer.
Oh yeah, and then I can't stress to you enough how much that Def Leppard ruled MTV up to Michael Jackson Thriller. I mean, they were literally ruling it. They was playing their videos 2 or 3 different ones an hour. It was in heavy rotation.
Number 7, Peter Gabriel. Sledgehammer.
That's a great one.
Iconic song.
It's definitely one of the greatest videos of all time.
The song is really it's about as cheeky as you can get for Peter Gabriel, which to me has always kind of represented a little slight jab toward his former bandmates going the pop rock route and doing these little songs about dancing and falling in love and yada yada, this, that, and the other. So he kicks it up a notch and gets a little cheekier with it. And this is just about straight sex. That's it. That's all it is. But it's done in such a way that it just seethes with irony, as Peter Gabriel is want to do.
Life, the automation, like the claymations, pure 80s at its finest. It's great. I 5 stars, thumbs up, Siskel and Ebert.
I believe it's
Definitely a masterpiece.
Yeah, it holds up today, in my opinion. The beauty of like you said, the claymation and the fruit and the arrangements of them and how they're animating all that stuff. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
And we're talking about an era too where all of these videos or most of the videos we talked about has some pretty girl with big, giant, huge, poopy, teased hair, cavorting about in various states of undress. This one has none of that, and it's probably the cheekiest of all the songs that we're talking about because that's all it is the song just uses a bunch of analogies about sex.
Yep.
It's hilarious, and there's not a woman to be found. Well, a few claymation women, of course.
Well, I know the song was popular because I remember getting to where I hated to see it coming.
You are listening to the Balls Out Podcast. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, comment, share and subscribe so that you can help this podcast grow.
All right, mister, what do you think you're doing? You call this a room? This is a pigsty. I want you to straighten up this area now! You are a disgusting slob! Are you listening to me? What do you want to do with your life?
Number 6, Twisted Sister. We're not going to take it.
I want to rock.
I love this song.
Oh, it's awesome.
And the video really, and the song is kick ass, but the video, then the song together is just, what are you gonna do with your life? I want to rock.
And who was that guy?
Well,
he was like the angry dad in a lot of the '80s films at that particular point.
Shannon, we're not going to take it completely. It's like they're at the dinner table with it. What are you gonna do? That's the "I Want to Rock" video. That's completely.
That's right. That's right. It is. It is. But
No,
it's the same guy though.
No, hold on. You're wrong. You're wrong, Kyle. And we're not going to take it. He actually says, "I want to rock" before the video kicks in.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he says, "I want to rock" and doesn't sing it. Well, he sings it in the "I Want to Rock" video.
He hits a chord on his guitar and says,
Kid goes, "I want to rock."
So it's a prequel. It's actually it's a preview of the upcoming video too. That was smart marketing.
Yeah,
D.
That guy
Snyder,
was
you got
the
to hand
guy
it
at
to him.
Animal House. He was the ROTC leader in Animal House. And he gave those guys,
Right. That's right.
yes, and he was giving people those spankings, and they say, "Thank you, sir. I have another." Right. So he was really a highly praised dude.
I was more partial to the "I Want to Rock" video myself, but like both those are extremely iconic and of the times. And part of what was that movement with like Al Gore's wife, and I know Frank Zappa was involved about music censorship.
Oh yeah, the PMRC, right?
PRMC
PMRC.
PMRC.
These were like the protest videos to that, and they're iconic. Both of them are.
Oh yeah, and they put him right in front of Congress, and he testified and basically made fools out of him. They tried to treat him like he was a chump, and he made them look chump-like. And Tipper Gore's wives too. And just like Hillary Clinton back in the '90s, I had no idea that why Tipper Gore was involved in anything. The public never elected her to do nothing, right? And they so I had no idea why they had Tipper Gore up there questioning the guy from Twisted Sister, who was a whole lot more intelligent than her or anybody else around her. And he basically made fools out of them because it's all just rock and roll. Can they take it or can they not take it, you know? So I was proud of D. Snyder in a big way.
Number 5, Motley Crue, Looks That Kill.
Oh man, what a heavy metal video, right? I mean, all the posing that's going on. I mean, it's every cliche of heavy metal that you ever lived in an area where Motley Crue was still metal, right? But yet it was glam at the same time. People didn't even know what was getting ready to hit them. But Looks at Kill was cheesy as hell.
But man, I'm gonna tell you what, every woman in and around that era that saw this video, they definitely knew what was going to hit them as soon as Motley Crue came to their town.
Oh yeah,
because man, that was right there, the very beginning of their international tour of pussy slang.
Oh yeah,
it was every single stop. Hundreds of women lined up to throw themselves at each and every member and the roadies and anybody that had anything to do with this band. And it all started with this one video.
Hell yeah. What a song. I love playing that song too. I don't know why. I just love it. And then when he goes into the double bass at the end as it fades out, I think it's a prototypical heavy metal song, you know?
And another one that was very popular. And actually this one, I do remember it broke my heart because I love Motley Crue. Based mainly off of this song, I went out and bought the album. Van Halen Jump knocked it off. It had been number one for about 5 weeks, and Van Halen Jump knocked it off. And I'm still pissed about it.
What song was that?
Although I do Jump by Van Halen knocked off Motley Crue. Looks to Kill.
But but Looks to Kill has jumped in this list, so they're vindicated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
School has begun. The summer is over. I am in command.
Number 4, Twisted Sister, I Want to Rock.
What was that? For that little outburst, each and every one of you will spend 3 hours in detention today, immediately after school, in the basement. What do you think you're doing? Twisted Sister? What kind of a man desecrates a defenseless textbook? I've got a good mind to slap your fat face.
No.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. And this one jumped. Wow.
The video to me is way more.
It had the same amount of votes as we're not going to take it, but the votes were higher. They were higher ranks.
Get out of town.
I just think the I Want to Rock video, I just think melds together better than the We're Not Going to Take It.
Yeah.
You walk into the school, you have the same dickhead teacher, you know, he's literally trying to be a hard ass, and he's asking him about summer school and all that stuff, and he goes, "What do you want to do?" And it's just I Want to Rock, and I just think it's just all the visuals I just think are better here.
No,
Do
it's
you
great.
feel like Twisted Sister jumped the shark when they popped up in Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Oh,
And that was where the beginning of the end for Twisted Sister, because they really didn't chart after that.
Correct. That's their
That
whole.
was a killer song too. I hate that too, because that was like I feel like that's the worst song that they could have used for that, and they should have used that somewhere else. Because that would have brought them back to like, because man, that is a just killer ass tune, but there's a comedic scene going on, and it just kind of ruins it.
Number 3, Devo, Whip It.
Oh yes.
God.
It's visually in my opinion, you could between and we may see the other one later, but this one is when I think of 80s music videos and someone says, "Kyle, show me a quintessential 80s music video." There's two I'm going to go to. I think we're going to reveal the other one later, but Devo Whip It is definitely one of them.
Oh yeah. Well, sounds like we had a Dane Kelly experience there.
Yep.
Somebody just took a shit.
No, I'm having to do some quick kitchen cleaning. I have a 5-year-old, so sometimes you have to clean on the
It
fly.
sounded like you were using it a day.
Probably was. There's no telling.
I remember Devo Whip It. It came out in a period where we had moved to Okeechobee, Florida, and they did not have MTV there. I actually lived there for about 10 months, and there was no MTV. It wasn't available. You couldn't get it. So I missed a lot of shit. So when I jumped back in, when they finally got MTV there, that was one of those that I discovered.
Hell yeah! Then it was so inventive of a video, and it was just so unique. And, their Devo was not like anybody else, and they have a.
I've got 2 words for you, fellas, and nobody's brought her up, and that's Edith Massey. Edith Massey was the egg lady in Pink Flamingos. Was a staple in a lot of the early, well, actually, pretty much just about every film that he did. John
Was she
Waters.
the one getting her? Was she the one getting her clothes whipped off?
She's whipped. No, she's not the one getting her clothes whipped off. I don't know who that young lady is. The older lady that actually has the whip that is whipping the.
Oh yeah,
the potatoes. That's the egg lady from Pink Flamingos. John Waters' Pink Flamingos, the cult film from what was that 1970. It has all of the weird and crazy scenes. It was actually an X-rated film when it came out. There are some rather.
She was in Diane Thorne movies. You ever heard of Diane Thorne? Right. So Diane Thorne was in like movies like Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I know exactly who you're talking about. Yes, you're absolutely right.
That's who Edith Massey. Edith Massey will forever be known as the egg lady in the original Pink Flamingos. She was the mother figure in that film. I don't know if you've ever seen Pink Flamingos, but it's definitely worth a view. You might want to skip the end, though, because it's not for the faint of stomach.
Number 2, Van Halen, Hot for Teacher.
Waldo. Now, Waldo, I hope you find some friends this year.
Oh, Mom, you know I'm not like other guys. I'm nervous and my socks are too loose.
Sit down, Waldo.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. This one almost got me in trouble because my dad happened to walk in when the teacher was getting up strutting her stuff. one of the more
Oh.
scantily clad teachers. And yeah, this was about as risque as you could get for MTV. And what year was this?
1984.
That's right.
Early '85. It came out in early
I
'85,
think
even
it
though,
was 85.
but the album came out in '84. Now, what was interesting to me was the use of the camera as Eddie Van Halen strode down through there and did his solo, right? And
On the table?
Yes, and that was just,
iconic fucking shot.
yes, and this was at the time, since Randy Rhoads was dead, he was definitely the greatest guitarist in the world at the time. So they it was a big deal to me. I'm a huge fan of Eddie Van Halen, you know.
Does anyone ever wonder what happened to Waldo after he got on the bus and went to school and whatever?
Yeah, we know what happened to him. It tells you at the end, doesn't it?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it tells you what happened to all of them, but I just don't remember what that was.
He was the most successful of everybody. He was very wealthy. It showed him he had a fur coat on, and he was in a little Bentley car. And
it's been a minute since I've watched. I just remember outside of the hot chick and everything. Get on, Waldo, or however, or what.
Sit down, Waldo.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's what how I remember that.
I remember Michael Anthony became a sumo wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Van Halen was institutionalized. Van Halen became a gynecologist, and it showed him smoking there, waiting for his next appointment.
You know, I've got to bring this up because we have not mentioned this, and this is the second time that I brought Van Halen up, and it'll probably be the last chance I get to. And that's the film that David Lee Roth did in the 90s, maybe early 2000s. You can actually look it up on YouTube, but it's something about something ice cream, something or another. I can't remember the name of it, and it is the most bizarre thing you will ever see in your whole life. He did this video, and it's like shot on videotape.
Wow!
And there's like it. I can't even begin to explain what's going on there. Look it up. Just look up David Lee Roth weird video on YouTube, and it'll pop up. And it's like an hour and a half long. It's like a whole movie. Y'all don't know about this? You've never heard about this?
No.
No, this really happened. Y'all keep talking. I'm gonna look this up because I got to know the name of it now.
All right, so to go ahead and fill in Kyle, David Lee Roth became a game show host, which I thought was pretty fitting.
Not really.
He would make a decent game show host.
Yes, he would have been perfect as a game show host. He always wore that little white outfit in these solo videos, and his little cane and his little hat. And had like the goofy looking people all around him. Looked like he belonged in like a New Jersey sitcom or something. And I thought that interesting.
Saying Waldo, he just ended up
at the end of the video,
extremely wealthy.
No. At the end, it goes, no one's really sure what became of Waldo after graduation.
That's right. It does show him, though. It lets you know that he did better than everybody else.
Well, that's the where I couldn't remember specifically, but I remembered something that's like, hey, I don't know if we ever found out what happened to Waldo. So that's why I said, do we know what ever happened to Waldo? What do you think? Did you think he became successful? I mean, he had a bunch of chicks and a fur coat on.
Yeah, I mean, he looked more successful than everybody else.
Number 1. Aha, Take on Me.
Oh yeah,
there's no way you cannot have another one. Number one, this is like the most iconic video of that era.
Oh yeah,
still.
And it's innovative. It even
you
looks
could probably go on Google right now and Google 80s video, and this will probably be the first thing that pops up.
Oh yes, the dancing queen of the 80s. Only through video, though. Well, how successful that song had been if that video wasn't so innovative and awesome.
Well, you've seen the other one, right? The one I posted that came a year earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the video was amazing. And, the fact that it looked like pencil and stuff, and they were drawing, and the animation of it, it was just incredible. It was groundbreaking.
Okay, so I just want to mention that there's no Bengals on his list whatsoever.
Can I also give an honorable mention too? Because just outside of this era lies one of the most iconic videos of 2023, still to this day, and has been for quite some time. And that is Rick Astley.
Yes.
Never Gonna Give You Up.
Yes, and
Rick rolled.
I'm just going to go ahead and throw that in the outro of the.
You kind of need to, because it really is. And I don't know if y'all watched that video recently. Somebody has like jazzed it up and made it like available for high definition, and it's almost terrible.
No, it's really good.
Not the video.
I mean, it's really hard to
the
believe.
video's not really that good. It's really
What was
not.
he like? 15?
Yeah, the video the video is very surprising, because the first time, if you've ever, we've all heard the song like a million times, but the first time you actually see him, it's rather shocking.
Yeah,
because he is young and skinny and white and Canadian, and he's not supposed to sound like that.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Shannon, nobody's supposed to sound like that.